Okay, we have another video of some random loser vandalizing a Tesla. And first we'll look at the video. There's no audio for this, but I think we have the video. This guy just, do we have this video? There he is. Okay. So he walks up, pulls the key out, keys the car, outside of an Olive Garden. This happened in Wichita, Kansas, outside of an Olive Garden. And you can see this guy, this kind of clumpy, disheveled loser with his, I think it's apparently Lilo and Stitch pajama pants that he's wearing. And we'll get back to that in a moment. But there is an update to this story. Local news is on the case. So we know whose car was vandalized. And it turns out it was a disabled woman whose car this was. Watch the report.
Damaging a personal vehicle does not affect Elon. If anything, it's giving him more money to fix the vehicle that you damaged. It's not damaging who you're thinking it is.
Just before 6 p.m. on Thursday, Abigail Gill and her family were seated for dinner at Olive Garden. Over an hour later, they left, and what they found waiting for them was shocking.
Quite a lot of damage. He keyed this side as well, which, as you can see, this side, it even looks like it affected above the tire. This is a lot more damage.
This comes less than a week after a possible arson at a Tesla dealership in Kansas City. Gill believes her brand new Tesla was targeted because of the current political climate and perception of Tesla CEO Elon Musk.
But it felt really disappointing that this is happening in such a great country, a great state. So for this to be happening in Kansas, of all places, is super shocking.
She says her family has had discussions around if it's even safe to be driving a Tesla anymore, in part because of incidents like hers. If she could send a message to the man who keyed her car, it's this.
You have put a very big crisis on me because physically I am in a wheelchair. I just hope that he definitely gets the correct punishment. I hope he pays all of the damages. It is well over $1,000, possibly over $10,000 of damage. I hope that the Wichita police continue to find him.
So there's the latest on the report, and you know, obviously all the people vandalizing Teslas and attacking Tesla owners, they should all go to jail. I think that they should be charged with domestic terrorism. This is domestic terrorism. And normally it wouldn't be, right? To key somebody's car, slash their tires, whatever, throw something in someone's car. It's against the law. You should be punished for it. Would normally call it domestic terrorism. But in this case, it is because this is politically motivated violence and property damage. Politically motivated, and it's designed to make people afraid. So it is terrorism by any definition of the term. You're politically motivated, and you're doing it because you want people to stop buying Teslas. And you want them to stop buying Teslas because you want them to be afraid. You want them to be afraid to drive a Tesla. That's the whole point. That's the stated goal here, which means that it is terrorism. And that's how these people should be charged. Think about what the left would do in this situation and do the same. As I pointed out before, you can only imagine if there had been widespread violence and vandalism directed at Bud Light or Bud Light customers or Bud Light trucks or Bud Light warehouses or stores that carry Bud Light. If there had been widespread violence and vandalism directed at those people and places, you can only imagine what the Biden administration would have done. The Biden administration would have loved to start throwing people in federal prison. And we all know that. So let's give them a nice taste of their own medicine on this one. And you think about how just totally brainless these people are. And this is one of the great advantages that the left has, that their people, the average leftist, is highly programmable. You know, all you have to do is just press a few buttons and they will start marching to whatever your new orders are. And that's exactly how these people went from celebrating Tesla because it's saving the environment to lashing out violently at any Tesla they see. And I know I've pointed this out before, but it's easy to forget that it wasn't that long ago that the left, they were huge Tesla fans and also Elon Musk fans. They celebrated Elon Musk prior to him buying Twitter. They celebrated him for this reason, that he was that he was, owned a company that was fighting back against the fossil fuel industry or whatever. I mean, according to them, he was helping to save the environment. I don't personally think that driving a Tesla is going to do anything to affect the weather one way or another, but they think that. And so it's easy to forget that it wasn't all that long ago. And now just how quickly they flip on a dime, and they're doing this even though everybody knows at this point that the Teslas all have cameras. They're still doing it. Potentially going to jail for the sake of making some asinine political point by vandalizing a Tesla. They're just sort of following the programming. And you notice how there is, from what I've seen, there is basically no discussion or debate on the left about this. There's a lot of talk about government debt, but after 4 years of inflation, the real crisis is personal debt. Seriously, it's possible you're working harder than ever and still struggling with credit card debt and overdue bills. That's why you need Done With Debt. If you're tired of feeling trapped by debt, the team at Done With Debt offers smart, effective strategies to help you pay off what you owe much faster. Break free from the cycle and keep more of your hard-earned money in your pocket. Done With Debt doesn't try to sell you a loan or bankruptcy. Their tough negotiators go one-on-one with your credit card and loan companies with one goal: to drastically reduce your bills, eliminate interest, and erase penalties. Most clients end up with more money in their pocket on month one, and they don't stop until they break you free from debt completely. Take a few minutes and visit donewithdebt.com. Talk with one of their strategists. It's free, but keep in mind, some of their solutions are time sensitive, so you'll need to move quickly. Go to donewithdebt.com. It's donewithdebt.com. Now, we know if there was some kind of rash of people on the right participating in this sort of vandalism, which is hard to imagine, but if it was happening, let's say that Bud Light scenario was actually happening, what we know is that there would be a bunch of people on our side who object to it. It would be a major point of contention and debate. I mean, X, right, would be full of conservatives posting about how they object to these kinds of tactics being used. Then you'd have other conservatives saying that, no, we need to use these kinds of tactics. There would be this pretty intense argument, debate, fight back and forth on the right about this. And that is, again, if we're imagining a greatly implausible world where conservatives become vandals, even in that world, it would be the subject of very intense debate on the right. You would have a whole lot of people on the right coming out and saying, I don't agree with this, we shouldn't be doing this, this is not the right approach. It's kind of amazing that on the left, there's none of that. None. There is no debate, no discussion. Has there been one person on the left? I mean, even one. Has one even semi-high-profile leftist come out and said specifically, listen, guys, we should not be doing this. Don't go and attack random cars that you see parked in an Olive Garden. Okay, the person who drove that car didn't do anything to you. They might even be on our side. They might be Democrat voters. Remember, these are eco-friendly cars. A lot of leftists bought them. A lot of people on our side bought them. Please stop doing this. Like, there's nobody on the left saying that. Nobody. Instead, what you get are a lot of high-profile leftists, from Tim Walsh to late night hosts, and so leftists in the political scene and entertainment industry that are directly encouraging more of it, and then all the rest of them are conspicuously silent about it. But there is no dissenting opinion here. Nobody speaking up and saying, let's not do this. Which is why the only way to stop them is to start throwing them in federal prison for domestic terrorism. It's the only way. And speaking of that, I also need to say that I think it's important to point out, maybe even this is perhaps a more important point, that the guy in that video in particular should go to federal prison for wearing pajama pants in public. And we don't even have to get into the fact that they're Disney cartoon pajama pants. That's insult to injury. But adult men who wear pajama pants in public should be thrown in Gitmo. Maybe we can send them down to El Salvador. They got plenty of room apparently in their prisons down there. Bukele is always happy to build another prison, so maybe we could do a whole new prison just for guys like this who wear pajama pants in public. It is the laziness and lack of self-respect it requires to wear pajama pants in public as a grown man is truly mind-boggling. How much effort does it take to just change your pants before you leave the house? Okay, you're about to leave your house. You're wearing Lilo and Stitch pajama pants, which you shouldn't be wearing those to begin with, but okay, you're going to leave the house. You're going to Olive Garden. And look, I know that Olive Garden is not exactly upscale dining. I get that. But it's a sit-down restaurant. It's a decent place. I can go to Olive Garden sometimes. It's at least formal enough that you should change out of your pajamas before you go there. How much effort does it take to change your pants? Like 45 seconds? Just throw some jeans on? You don't need to put a suit on. No one's saying that. Put some jeans on. 45 seconds. That's it. Now, I know this guy's out of shape. He's pretty fat. Maybe it might take him longer. He doesn't have the same dexterity that other people have to change. So maybe the changing the pants for him is a bit more of a routine. But even then, like 2 to 3 minutes at most. I mean, how long could it take even for a fat, out of shape guy to change his pants? I cannot imagine any scenario where I would wear pajama pants in public. I'm not even kidding. If my house was burning down and I was wearing pajama pants, I would I'd get my wife and kids out of the house. I would do that first. And then I would run back in. After all the kids are out and my wife is out, everyone's safe, I'd say to my wife, hang on, I got to run back and grab one more thing. And she would scream like, are you crazy? What, the house is burning down. I got to change. I can't stand out here in my pajama pants. The fire department's going to come. They're going to laugh at me wearing pajama pants out in public now. I would run back in. I would die. I would rather die than be seen wearing pajama pants in public. And yet you got these guys doing this. It's just, that is the real problem here, I would say. If you'd like to see what else I have to say, you can access my full show by going to dailywire.com or by going to the Matt Walsh Show Twitter page. Hope to see you there. Godspeed.